Okay, so for those of you watching this on YouTube, I have switched off my headset for a bit, switched to the built-in mic. The audio quality is probably worse, substantially, but I'm having my doubts on getting any viewers on this, and the headset is starting to hurt my ears for the moment, so I'm taking a little break from that. I'll be back. The headset, it's just, the headphones are kind of cheap, and cheaply made. They may not have been cheap to, buy, but they kind of squish in on my ears because they don't adjust large enough for my rather large head, or, well, a little bit larger than average. Not to say my brain's any bigger. If anything, it's big ass skull. Excuse my language. It's a lot of bone, but I guess if I lived in the Middle Ages, it would have been protected against, getting hit by a mace a little bit, maybe. And if it was a glancing blow that wouldn't instantly stick in my rattle your brain. But I don't know. Anyways, got ancestors from this part of the world, so sure Czechoslovakia won this to me award. Maybe it's selection, maybe it's probably more likely genetic drift. The random things that can happen with it. Anyways, so I'm here playing Germany. I am not going to be attacking anyone. I'm certainly not going to be doing the nonsense you can do where you justify on the Netherlands early on. Although I could do that. I think that would commit me to the fascist retreat automatically. Oh, you still have to choose to bypass it. So, no. Yeah, you could fight an early war in the Netherlands. But even if I just wanted to grab a little territory near the border or something, they never surrender easily. If I was going to do that more realistic one, go after Denmark. Grab this area that was ceded, parts of it by Germany to Denmark after World War I. It was Sunderberg itself, but I think this part was. Could do it. I don't think anyone would stop me. You can't guarantee anyone the 25% world attention. It's actually a common strategy. It would lock whoever I did it to, such as Denmark, including the focus tree. I'm trying to think of it, that might not be a bad thing. Denmark is Holland. Thing with the Netherlands is if you go ahistorical as Germany, well, if you pressure them, they'll still go fascist, even though that's not what you would want realistically at that point. Keep the British go democratic, even the British say went fascist or communist or something. I don't think they ever adjusted these focuses for all history scenarios, which would have been trivial to do. The paradox devs just rarely go back and fix things. Neutrality does give me access to a little bit of the resources. I don't know. For those of you watching who hadn't picked this up already, I decided I was probably going to try to go Communist Germany. I said a long time ago I would never stick through with a fascist playthrough in this, although if I could be sure that it was possible to do Operation Valkyrie, like it previously was, it was by event. It was not a focus. I would try something like that. It'd be interesting. Still give me access to some features, but when you capitulate, you lose most of your focus tree. So, of course, that actually doesn't capitulate you. That makes you a rebel faction. Might have been interesting. This is just so I can get planning bonuses, and then I can apply them in Civil War. Even if I wanted to justify on them or anyone else. Takes 250 days. That's a bit. I'm sure some of you are squirming who saw this before, but what I am doing is selling off planes for now, since half of what I produce or something like that, maybe more, will otherwise just end up in the hands of the Nazis if I'm doing a civil war. I don't need that. They don't need the equipment anyways. No one needs it. It's just excess destruction. Get the money instead, which I'm building up Western Germany with, because that's the area I'm pretty sure used to stay loyal in the Civil War. Oh shoot, I was gonna swap those. Westfalen more of a priority, and I forgot. Hessen, because they get the bonuses. Well, production one running MIFA bells will probably do that. I do need some military factories for the Civil War. Yeah, 2 is probably not. One of my hopes here with selling off this equipment is that maybe some of it will see some use and I'll get some experience from that, because you actually get experience if people use equipment they bought from you. Or MIOs do, I forget. Has some benefits for you is the point beyond just the money. Oh, winter's coming. Some of these guys, in fact, this was not the right place to deploy them all to. At least the Mountaineers. I believe Special Forces gain acclimatization faster by default. That may have been only with the certain tree. Huh? there's no option of selecting everything. Whatever.
Zum Ausrücken.
One thing is the heat. I think I've indicated this before to individuals, but maybe not here on YouTube, is you invade a nation, it locks nearly all their focus tree, and they basically stop all industrial development, which makes zero sense, at least all by focus, that suddenly we're not going to put any political effort into industrializing faster because we got conquered. Maybe lost a war where we just give up a border state even. Might not be, that big a deal. Stuff I can always sell that will never go obsolete. And that includes support equipment and trains. Those messages. I don't even know where even a male is. Paratrooper rated even male would be a little more helpful if it explained what that meant. Some of these guys who are less winter acclimatized, they could go help the Republicans in the Spanish Civil War. I don't think I'm restricted from doing that. some music for you folks. You're probably a little bored by this. Venezuela is buying convoys. Yeah, it makes sense. Hungary, no, we are buying aircraft. One of the nice things about Germany is you can always choose when the war begins to a large extent. Although the AI is non-historical focuses, so the other ways you can break that out. Yeah. The game considers trains to be a military factory thing. I don't remember that. It's kind of silly, but oh geez, that's a monarchist thing. That's not a so much for that. Probably just in that case I'm just probably gonna go combined arms warfare. Tanks. Probably? Maybe not. Still some nice entrenchment. Strong defensive line allows you to group your forces for a push in the right places in the line. Anticipate fighting the Soviets here. What they're up to. Barbarossa, which shall not be happening. There's a reason why I did the air doctrine first, and it was so I could develop some improved aircraft. There. HE111 is a solid basis for improvement, but it is not the best you can do. Here we go. These are not only lighter, they're a bit cheaper than the medium bomb bays. And it frees up a little bit of weight for an extra set of machine gun turrets. The point for that is the air defense, mainly, to make this a little harder to shoot down. And of course, the reason for that let's set these stops in. Interesting. Sorry, the reason for that is because these earlier aircraft are gonna end up kind of tanking for the more modernized ones. Enemies will shoot at them with just as much as they'll shoot at more heavily equipped, improved airframes eventually that might have fewer air defense turrets and more bombs. specific way air combat works in this game involves the enemy basically choosing to the attacks get divided up among all the air wings. So it's possible to have a high-low strategy where you have cheaper designs that are there just to soak up enemy attacks, while the more expensive ones carry your actual, more bombs, more fighter weapons, etc. It's a minor optimization, but it's something that's done in the real world or has been attempted. The U.S. Air Force has a high-low design strategy, for instance, although it often fails to live up to it and just ends up everything being really expensive. The idea is to have cheaper designs you produce that carry out easier missions where there's less resistance or soak up shots. They'll never call it that. That's really what they're talking about sometimes. But no one likes to be thought of as cannon fodder, even if it's flying cannon fodder, which is you're going to be less cannon fodder than infantry no matter what. If you're in a plane. But the cheaper designs like with fighters can get in the way of enemies trying to target your better fighters, which then let the better fighters get in and actually get the kills. That's just one example of the things it can be used for. I don't understand why that guy even exists. Alright. I don't think anyone ever takes them, I guess historically. I'll need the base stability that provides, unless they reworked it and I just screw myself. No, seems to be the same as ever. The raids. Also push a little bit of popularity into communism, since I'm going to be flipping there. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm kind of like playing through a bit of a headache here. I might not be able to go for too much longer. I'm trying to focus, but long COVID I get headaches periodically. Sometimes I just gotta go lie down, darken the room. The reason I'm pushing through it all for a little while is because hopefully with this new DLC I have a better chance of getting my channel some attention. Oh, complete a project. Promising prototype. Interesting. I wonder if it saves your progress if you cancel it. Probably not. Probably does. Otherwise you could just grind the prototype stuff. It's worth noting, without my interference, the Spanish Civil War is more likely to go for the Republic. It's the German player sending, volunteers or German AI that often makes it go for the nationalists. The volunteers really do make a difference, especially the air volunteers that Germany often sends in Italy. Not especially, actually. Air support's not that important where there's unplanned offensives, because it's the breakthrough of attack units, but attack gets debuffed so much it doesn't matter. But if you some like tactical bombers. Sometimes they can do a ton of damage when ground troops are doing very little. So I shouldn't say there makes no difference, but fighters not super useful in the Spanish Civil War. Bombers, they can do some real, put some kills and very prolonged air combat that just goes on and on and on, and therefore is a perfect candidate for getting in bombing missions. Because it takes a while for them to assign to an ongoing combat. It's not like the moment there's a combat that they always start providing air support. Sometimes they do. I think it's a meantime hack thing. I should probably do an improved version of this. Soon? We have to February 26th if the next fighter completes. Yeah, a lot of value just in numbers and aircraft early on though. Cheaper stuff sells better. That's one more reason for the rework to my bombers. Up to speed 3 here. Now, because I'm going to be needing to revert to an earlier version to play the multiplayer, yeah, there's problems with not the version that I started that multiplayer game on not being available. Shoot. I need to ask the guys there if they want to restart it. There's one guy who I was doing it with, and another who was looking at joining in. And even if I hadn't updated, one of them probably would have updated and then found that there was no ability to revert to the specific version we were using before. So there's that. You have to redo it, which is a shame. kind of interesting the way things are going. So, sorry, what was I? So there may be some delay though if I do manage to figure out I can roll back and make the save work. Maybe some delay to recontinuing this then, because if I have to change version every time, switching between this and that. Let's see. Speaking of things I want to look at. Portugal is supposed to have gotten a little change to their where is it? Their dam focus. Roads, bridges, and dams. Doesn't actually give them dams. It's not to hydroelectricity. That's probably not what it should be. It says dams, it should be dams. But and they made an effective nerf because it used to give 2 civilian factors, now it gives 1 civilian factory and a state modifier. That's arguably worse than before. Jeez, they cannot resist constantly nerfing nations. You know, I think Lisbon didn't get a civilian factory before. That's in the long run, it's more build slots they got, but fewer factories, probably. Of course, the dams are subject to raids. I forgot about those fires. A few more. Especially with the rubber situation in Germany, probably. Not going to be able to do self-filling fuel tanks in this, so extra fuel tanks or drop tanks later. These are just a better design. Harder hitting, harder to shoot down. But less agile. Let's call this heavy, or H for heavy. So that's what they're a heavier variant. Some of these can sell for 100 or 125 each. It's 50. Yeah. Like 50 and 100. I thought things sold for 4 times their base. And twice. Very early on, it's actually more cost cheaper to have a civilian factory and buy stuff, at least in terms of build slots. It's worth noting because even with things being double the cost, it was double because I remember the cost relationship. For instance, 2 factories at max production for me would be 4.81. 2 civs are considered 10, but then the price is doubled, so it's like 5. Of course, this phone factory is more expensive to produce, so it's still better to produce your own equipment. Generally, you can have long runs of production. If you're just doing short running, you need a little something you're better buying rather than having very low production efficiency. So, there's that. Okay, I'm gonna save this. Take a quick look at the Portuguese. I'm curious about their prereqs for that damn thing. They're going pop in the front though. I would have seen that in a second anyways with the spirit. One of the following has full control. So what happens if they don't have... I think they get... They wouldn't get a dam guard, I would assume, or did they get dams further south? Can that happen? Because they can get civil war, they lose any control of Garda. Anyways, that's it for now. This is Northstar. Signing off, taking a break because my head hurts and I gotta figure out what I'm doing with versions of this too, and get some food in me. So, thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time.